Hello, all you friends out there. Today, it's just me, Tammy, and we are going to talk about why we can't reach our goals. Why is it we can't lose that weight? Or why is it we keep losing the same weight over and over again? Or why is it we can't start an exercise program? Or maybe we start one and we slither off and decide not to do it anymore for some reason. We get busy. Or we go after a job and we don't get it. What is it about us that, I don't know, causes us to not do the things we really want to do? So today's episode is why your thoughts are sabotaging your health. And I'm going to talk mostly about health and an airplane ride because that's what I really know about. So join me today. It should be fun.
It's a beautiful chaos, this roller coaster ride. The ups, the downs are spinning all around inside. It's a beautiful chaos, sometimes I love, sometimes I hate. Have to pause, renegotiate, but with gratitude I appreciate this beautiful chaos.
So welcome to today's episode of Beautiful Chaos, Why Your Thoughts Are Sabotaging Your Health. We're going to talk about thoughts, emotions, and eating. And you know what? We are talking about everything to do with the mental side of losing weight, achieving goals, stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing something crazy like a podcast. Because you want to share with people and help people, for instance. But, doing something that you fear. I even feared flying. And I've flown since I was 3 years old. And I'll share with you my thoughts about that and how I overcame that. So, what you think is so important down to the core of your being. And I say that because if you look at our brain itself, right, and how it functions, there's synapses and neurons and all the things. And those synapses fire off and they, in my mind, I picture them just making these divots in your brain, right? So let's say that every day you come home after work and you're tired and you sit down on the couch in your spot on the couch, turn on the TV and you grab a bag of chips and you start just eating right out of the bag, right? So when you do that enough times, that becomes rooted in your brain that that's your habit, right? That's a habit you're creating. And it's not even a thought at that point. And probably what started that habit was maybe you had a stressful day and you thought you needed some comfort food. How many times have we said that we need comfort food? I have done it a lot in my years. Mac and cheese. I still, if something sweet, anything chocolate, I want to go to if I'm stressed or bored or lonely, and we go over that again because we went over that. It's the Enneagram for bored, and it's are you bored? Are you overwhelmed? Are you restless? Are you emotional? Are you distracted? There's all these questions that you need to ask yourself to kind of recognize why am I standing in front of the cupboard that has the peanut butter and the chocolate right now? Because that was my go-to. So it starts with a thought, but then that thought processes, and when we do something about it, we're choosing to do something about it, and that's very important what choice we make. So let's go back to the potato chips on the couch. So now you've created this rut in your brain. And it's so rutted in there. It's like a dog running along a fence, right? Say that you're in a neighborhood and your next door neighbor has kids outside playing, and your dog just constantly runs up and down that fence, wanting to play with those kids, right? And it makes this big rut by the fence. And it's from the dog repeating the same behavior over and over again. Well, that's what happens with our minds with any habit, good or bad, that we create. And this brings us to like our mindset, because our thoughts become our mindset, or our core beliefs, how we were raised, is our mindset, right? So, and they become, not only this is what your mindset is, like you just think it's okay to sit and eat a bag of potato chips, the entire bag of potato chips in front of the TV because you've had a stressful day, and you give yourself that easy out, right? Because that has been your comfort food for how many years? And I am not judging you, because been there, done that. I mean, mine's not chips, it is sweets. It is peanut butter and chocolate, 100%, or anything sweet in the house. That is a habit I created for myself, and that was terrible. And it was like, I was great all day long, but about 3 or 4 o'clock, I would be just exhausted from what I've worked on that entire day, because I always work myself to a bone, right? And about 3 or 4 o'clock, I would just be like, okay, I'm going to take a break. And instead of choosing to eat something healthy and sit on that couch in that spot and watch a show for 30 minutes and take my break, I would maybe start off with something healthy. But for some reason, I was bored, or I was stressed or overwhelmed, or whatever feelings. I didn't even take time to understand there was a feeling. I just knew that I felt uncomfortable, and I had to change that uncomfortable feeling. And to do that, I filled it with peanut butter and chocolate. So these become the stories that we've told ourselves, right? Like we tell ourselves, I have a sweet tooth. I'm a sugarholic. And I now can't say I'm a recovering sugarholic, but anyways, just kidding. But as soon as we say I'm a sugarholic, then we're identifying that we are a lover of sugar, and that we have just given our power away to some inanimate object. We are now saying that I can't even control my thoughts. I can't control my emotions, because now I've created this habit. I've created this story that I'm a sugarholic. I've named it. I put it out in the universe, and I'm becoming it. So this is what happens when we say things like, everyone in my family is overweight, so it's genetics, which, by the way, watch one of our earlier episodes. I think it's episode 4, because we talk about, are you your genes? And you are absolutely not. We all have switches inside of us, that's the way I picture it, that are genetics, and we are genetically formed in a certain way, but it's how we feed our bodies, how we do fitness and exercise and move our bodies and look at stress and all the things, right? The other one is, I've tried to lose weight and nothing works. And they've already given up, already decided that they cannot do it by even just stating that statement, right? Here's me. I'm afraid to fly because I fear the plane will crash. Or anything to do with the flying thing. For a while, I was just like crazy scared about it. And I remember I was sitting on the airplane, and it was very, a lot of turbulence. And the flight attendant says to me, you know what the turbulence is, right? And I'm like, no, I just feel like it's the plane being unstable. And he's like, no, ma'am. So picture you're on a dirt road. Have you been on a dirt road? And I said, matter of fact, I live on a farm and a ranch. So yes, I've been on a lot of dirt roads and a lot of bumpy dirt roads. And he said, that's all it is. They're just bumps in the road. And all of a sudden I went from this place of fear where, I had to take anxiety medicine to get on the plane, to this calmness and this understanding that, okay, the plane's not going to just drop out of the sky because it's hitting a little turbulence. It's just a dirt road. And once I could view it as that, it changed everything. And now I'm not afraid to fly at all. It's like, easy peasy. And plus, I mean, let's be real. I trust God. And if I'm afraid of something, then I feel like I'm not fully trusting God. I'm not fully putting my faith in God's will for me, right? And God wants us to be happy. So if getting in shape, losing weight is going to help you be happy, if you lean on Him, He'll help you to make those things happen. But let's go back to our thoughts, because you can only have so much willpower before it dissipates and you're into the cookies or you're into the chips, whatever's your weakness, or you quit working on a project because you've given up that will to get it done, right? That's the other thing is, I feel like that whenever we step outside of ourselves to do anything, whether it's make changes in our fitness, make changes in our nutrition, make changes in the way our mind thinks, mindset, right? Or try to create something for ourselves, our first thought is we're afraid of failure. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I was coaching, I was not only afraid of failing as a coach, but I was also afraid of being successful as a coach. Think about that. I was afraid to fail, and I was afraid to succeed because the stories I had told myself, right? Failure, that's an easy one to understand that, but I had to really stop and talk out loud to myself, and you can call me crazy, I kind of am, but I think that talking out loud to yourself stops your mind from going in weird corners and thinking strange thoughts and doing all the buts. So I remember saying, why are you afraid of success? And I realized that the story I told myself was, if I'm a successful business coach, that means I have to coach coaches and help them to be better coaches, which means that's going to take a lot of my evening time, and that's going to take me away from my family. So then I had this epiphany that, the most important thing in my life is my family. And my focus was in the wrong spot. And that kind of leads us to this podcast. So doing a podcast is a little easier because I can work it around my schedule a lot easier. And I'm not working one-on-one with people. What I share with all of you, I hope that something in you goes ping and it helps you to create a easier journey for yourself. So the biggest thing that I think that I would like to share with you is that what we put out in the world is what happens. If we think we're going to fail at something, we will 100% fail at it, right? And I want you to think about that, because what does it hurt to think I'm going to be successful? I will successfully lose 20 pounds. I will successfully become a person who loves fitness. What does it hurt to see yourself as being successful at any goal you set versus seeing yourself as a failure? Because if you see yourself as a failure, you're going to fail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you think you're going to fail, you'll fail. If you think you're going to be successful, you're going to have a higher percentage of a chance. I'm going to throw a percentage out there, 99% chance of success. And if you do fail along the way, then you can stop and reset and renegotiate with yourself and have compassion with yourself and ask yourself questions. Okay, why did I hit that road bump? So I'm going to share with you my journey really quick. So in February, I was suffering with the beginnings of rheumatoid arthritis, and I didn't know. I just knew that everything hurt, and I would wake up and everything hurt, and I was like inflamed. I felt like the Michelin Man, and I had gained all my weight back that I had lost basically over an 8-year period. I had lost it and kept it off I kept it off for 6 years. And then the 2 years I put it back on. And I told myself all kinds of stories, Oh, I ate healthy. No, I absolutely did not. I made very bad choices in food, and I ate things that I knew I shouldn't. And I didn't realize I was eating things that were inflaming my body. And so anyways, so that started me down this journey of, all right, I got to get my ducks in a row here. I don't want to feel this way for the rest of my life, right? I don't want to be that elderly person that hurts everywhere, can't walk, just doesn't want to do anything and gives up on life, right? Not that everybody does that. But I would do that, I feel, because I was in that much pain. But anyway, so I digress. Through different, like I did a 7-day cleanse, and then I did a 30-day elimination diet, and then I started adding things back in, and I would notice immediately within 24 hours if something affected my body. I didn't tell myself a story about the thing I was eating. So that was the other thing. I would tell my brain to just be quiet and observe. I want to be an observer, right? That was kind of the self-talk that I had during that period. And I would take notes, and I was in observer mode, and I would see what foods would, affect me. And then about in April, I decided to go from my walking program to strength training. And I started off doing 5 days a week and my walking program, and, eating basically a carnivore diet with the occasional vegetable thrown in, because I would try different vegetables and I would just get inflamed. And there's only about 5 vegetables I can eat, believe it or not. And they all have to be cooked. And that's because I don't have a gallbladder, and that's because my body just had crazy reactions. So everybody, whatever your body needs to fuel itself with to feel good, not be in pain, not have diabetes, not have any type of arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis or autoimmune diseases, that's the way you need to eat, right? If you're a vegetarian, more power to you. Like whatever works for you. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just sharing my story. So anyway, so I started strength training, and I'm doing all these things, and I'm just not losing the weight. Like I lost about 10 pounds, and that took me about 5 or 6 months. And honestly, the program that I health coached for, you could lose 30 pounds in about 4 months. But it wasn't super, it was healthy, but there was low processed foods, but still. Anyways, I'm not going to talk bad because they did great for me. I'm the one that had the allergy. I have an allergy to soy, so I could no longer eat anything with soy. Anyway, so all of a sudden I started really thinking, well, gee, look at all these people on the GLP-1s. Like everybody's losing weight like this and da-da-da-da. And I started thinking, well, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I just need to do that because this is hard. I'm working really, really hard. And I lost that vision. I lost the thought. I lost the belief that I could achieve my goal. And I was telling myself that what I was doing wasn't working. And I realized that. And so then I had to stop and go, all right, wait. But you've lost all these inches. You don't have rolls hanging over your pants anymore. So there are things clearly happening. It's just not happening on the scale, right? And I had to really analyze what was actually the facts, right? What are the facts of the situation? Not my thoughts, not my opinion, but the facts. I mean, come on, we could all use a little more facts-based information these days. Anyways, I digress. I won't go there. But, you know, we just have to understand that anything, you remember your parents used to tell you, anything worthwhile is hard work and it takes time. And that's everything in life. Whether it's weight loss, whether it's going back to school like Stacy did, whether it's starting a podcast, whether it's writing a play, whether it's getting a new job because you're miserable in your job. But first, analyze why you're miserable. Is it you? Is it, because more than likely it's you. It's something within you. And you got to look at that first. But anyways, so some things that we can do to help our thoughts align with what we want is first catch yourself in your thought and then ask yourself, why do I think that? Why do I think I can't do this? Why do I think this isn't working? Why do I think my body's broken? Your body's not broken. Our bodies are geniuses. And we're the ones that are messing them up. So ask your question, like, what's really going on right now? What's going on in my thoughts? What's going on in my body? What is it that I actually need? Am I emotionally eating? Am I going down that dog run along the fence and just doing a habit? Like, if you catch yourself sitting on the couch eating chips, stop and ask yourself, why am I eating these chips? Are potato chips healthy for me? Probably not. Are they going to help me reach a health goal? Absolutely not. So then you can go to that BORD acronym. And I shared that earlier too in an earlier episode. It's, again, bored. Am I bored? Am I just wanting to put something in my mouth because I'm bored? Am I overwhelmed? That I think I tell myself that I'm overwhelmed. And so think about that. Some of these emotions, we're telling ourselves those things and then we're becoming those things. Example, I caught myself, I don't know, it's been probably a year ago, telling myself or telling everybody around me, well, I'm just so tired. And I realized about the fourth time I said it this one day, oh my word, I say I'm tired all the time. So think about what are your key words that you say. And if you don't know, ask your family. Because mine were, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed. So those were my words I told myself. Those were my thoughts that I told myself. And so guess what? I became those thoughts. I became tired. I became overwhelmed and I became stressed. Now, stress is a real thing. If you put too much on your plate, you don't take breaks, you don't deep breathe, you don't reset yourself in some way, whether it's self-care or just deep breathing or going and having fun and enjoying something that's let your mind just be present in a moment, then you can get stressed. Your body can physically get stressed. If you're automatically on this, everything's out to get me, then your body's in stress, and you will feel everything's out to get you. So our thoughts are very, very important. So stop and ask yourself, what is going on in your brain? Why am I thinking these things? Why do I think I'm going to be a failure? What if I thought I would be successful? In an earlier episode, we also talked about the Habit Atomic Challenge book. And in that book, the author talks about, don't just say, I think I want to start strength training. Tell yourself, I'm a bodybuilder. That doesn't mean I'm going to be a bodybuilder and be like the Hulk, get big and bulky by any means. But what if I'm just become the bodybuilder? What if instead of saying, I want to start running, what if you say, I am a runner? If you say it enough, you will become it. If you put it out in the universe, if you recreate the synapses and get the neurons going the way that you want them to go and train your brain, you can do anything you want to, because we all have the capacity. We first have to, don't blame anybody else for whatever circumstances you have in life. Because when you blame somebody else or you blame a circumstance, you are giving your power to someone else or something else, right? If I'm saying I'm a sugarholic, I've just given my power to sugar. Be powerful. Be mindful. Be thinking about what you can do and can become, and picture yourself already there. And if you struggle, because I've struggled in my journey, I mean, it's going on almost a year, and I'm down 25 pounds, 14 inches, 2 sizes. Like, I'm feeling great. I have a little bit to go just because I still have a big pooch stomach. But and I have things I want to tighten up some more. But anyways, I just need to picture myself already at my goal. I need to picture myself as I am a healthy person. I am a healthy eater. I am a bodybuilder. Those I am statements can be very strong. But you also have to follow it with doing the steps to create each of those things that you want in your life, right? And when you struggle doesn't mean you're broken. Struggle means you're human. It's not a perfect path. We've talked about it. It is not a straight shot to whatever your goal is, right? There's always going to be things that, speed bumps. And I always think it's God's way of going, well, slow down, because you have not learned what you need to know to get to the next step. That's the way I imagine it. Like, there's something that we are lacking that we need to learn, whether it's we need to learn it for ourselves or we learn it to share with others. There's a reason we need to learn something, right? God doesn't just throw something on you and go, good luck figuring that out. No, it's all about learning something. So in my health journey, I learned that I had to stop having expectations of myself that were so rigid. And I had to appreciate the now. I had to appreciate where I am now. I have to appreciate that it may have taken me almost a year, and I've got probably 10 or 15 to go, or probably 4 or 5 inches to go, but I have to just give myself grace for the journey, because everybody's journey is different, right? And it's not perfect. And sometimes you need to take a minute and go have potato chips on the couch, but maybe put them in a bowl. Maybe that's step one of your stress reliever. Or maybe you say, I'm going to dance or call a friend or whatever. But anyways, our minds, we are built to be overcomers, right? We are built to achieve things. And it's not even that you reach the goal. It's all about the journey to reach the goal. That's what they've shown scientifically, where our brains, like the endorphins, all the feel-good endorphins, like dopamine and things, all those things are created on the way to achieving the goal. It's not actually achieving the goal. Once you achieve the goal, it's like, well, I did that and I got that done. And then guess what? You're going to go, well, what's next? So enjoy your journey. Enjoy the ups and downs of whatever it is. Whether you are chasing a healthier body, longevity, whether you're chasing a new lifestyle, whether you're chasing a new job, a new vocation, a marriage. Maybe you've just got married. You want to make the best of your marriage in the next year, because, this is all about what we're going to do in this next year, what changes you're going to make. And you're going to struggle getting there, and you're going to have the speed bumps that God's going to slow you down and be like, whoa, you got to learn a little something here. So give yourself grace. Talk nicely to yourself. Remember that you are not your thoughts. You can create your thoughts. You can create your own vision of what you want your life to be. You are that powerful. And one day you will reach your goal and you will say, what's next? So realize that a healthy mindset has everything to do with creating a healthy body. And sabotaging yourself is listening to your thoughts, right? Listening to the negative talk, saying that you're a failure and you can't do the thing. So to not sabotage yourself, as soon as that thought comes in, say, you know what? I'm not listening to you. I'm listening to the new me that's going to focus forward, and I'm going to be a goal achiever. I'm going to choose to make the best of whatever I'm doing in my life, right? And once you change that, the world will just open up to you. Once you start to be aware of your thoughts and how they control you, I mean, it's crazy. I'll share a little tidbit of something with you. Look up the milkshake effect. It was I think it was Harvard. They did this milkshake test, and they took like a 650 calorie milkshake versus a 320 calorie milkshake, and they hooked people up, and they were looking to see how your body would affect and whether it would tell your body if you were full. It was a certain hormone. And anyways, they give the same person the 650 milkshake and say, this is so full of fat and full of sugar and all the things. And then, later on in the afternoon, they'd say, okay, now we're going to give you this very healthy, good for you milkshake. And I think that you'll have to look it up, because I think that they actually had switched them. They gave them the 320 saying it was the sugary one, and their body responded like it was the sugary, unhealthy one. And when they were given the 650 and told it was healthy for them, that's what it was, then they believed that. And so their bodies, their body worked together, and they processed it as if it was the healthy version. So think about that. If you look at a piece of cake and think that's really bad for me, I can't eat that, and then you demolish the entire thing, you go through this whole guilt thing and all the things. And look, sugar in large quantities is not good for you, but what if you would have just taken a bite of that cake and just thoroughly enjoyed it and been okay with that? Right? Moderation. And you told yourself, it's okay if I have a bite, or it's okay if I have a small sliver of cake. It's not gonna hurt you if that's something that you do every once in a while. See, that's the thoughts. But if you're telling yourself, I cannot eat that cake at all, because if I eat that cake, I'm going to gain 10 pounds. It's just going to go right to my hips, right? Then guess what? You're going to gain probably not 10 pounds. It'll probably be a couple pounds, and it'll go right to your hips. So help yourself by creating healthier thoughts. And you can do anything. Remember that. I believe in you. I believe in me. Like, it's a struggle. It's not perfect. Remember that. Give yourself grace. So, thank you all for joining today. Please like and subscribe